after season 24 ended, and after the failure with the Big World Big Adventures rebrand, ratings going down, and Mattel neglecting to market the show properly, or make quality merchandise. A season 25 has been cancelled and has not been greenlit, and after that, they instead decided to make a shitty reboot called All Engines Go, with shitty 2D animation, shitty characters, shitty redesigns, and shitty rehashed plots, and shitty everything. I hate the reboot so fucking much, because a lot of things. The theme song, good god I hate it so much. And worse. It is very short and way too fast, and it is 15 minutes long. Listen to it.
Here comes Thomas on the number one engine. Whoa! All engines go! Down the hills and round the whoa! All engines go!
Why have it be the default intro? Come on! Maybe they could have used the 30 minutes intro or the 1 hour intro they have. If they make it 15 minutes, kids would not get into this that quickly. Here comes Thomas, I'm the number one engine. Whoa, all engines go. Down the hills and round the whoa, all engines go. Slow the fuck down. That's how forgettable the theme song is. And the animation absolutely sucks, and feels rather mediocre, weak, and worded an absolute downgrade to the nice CGI animated seasons. The animation for the Nitrogen era wasn't bad, but the Brenner era's animation was way better, which is more noticeable in seasons 19 through 21, then it downgraded in the Big World Big Adventures series. The animation uses 2008 Flash animation from the late 2000s, which is the most mediocre style you would put in a new show from the early 2020s, and like other modern animated shows, it uses Toon Boom, the same animation software used in other shows, including those from Nelvana. While Toon Boom can make great animation, this is possibly mediocre at best, with incredibly poor character rendering, ugly, plastic, cheesy and fake-looking character designs, horrible visuals that feel more like they came from a mid-late 2000s Flash cartoon than something made with Toon Boom, and awful texturing with the objects. And all of the tunnels in the show are the same, with the only difference being the location, which just shows how overworked and somewhat underpaid the animators are. Also, there are also even more animation errors than before. These include characters clipping through each other, engine pieces missing, and many other mistakes that would have never happened in the CGI era. Hell, even the whistle audio errors are in the reboot. What the hell? That is not Henry's whistle. They even did that to Edward in one clip of the episode letting off steam.
Where'd all this traffic come from?
Also, the characters have now gotten butchered again after they reverted to their original personalities and the Renaissance and Web eras. But due to the horrible changes this reboot made, the butchering is even worse this time around. Thomas is now a young, egotistical and selfish dumbass and misbehaves all the time and with an annoying kid voice. As in the Anera test pilot, he for some reason has an allergy to hate. He didn't have that in the Railway series books and the main show. In Rules of the Game, he makes the other engines do his stupid obstacle course his way and not anyone else's, but then eventually comes through in the end. In the super long shortcut, he's completely annoying to Gordon, who is trying to get a delivery done and takes him the completely wrong way and gets himself and Gordon lost. He was selfish in Dragon Run, where he wasn't letting his friends have a chance to pull the dragon, and worse, Thomas doesn't get any punishment when he gets in trouble, which making be more of a Carmel Houdini than what the show calls him as a hero. Percy is an absolute coward who goes along with whatever stupid stuff Thomas does. Annie and Clipperville are portrayed as elderly figures who can sometimes be overbearing. Sir Topham Hatt is now a pointless comic relief who messes up, like he was in the Nitrogen era. But what's worse is he doesn't even appear regularly to give the engines their tasks, so he's not even so much as a parental figure either. At least in seasons 12 through 16, he gave the engines stuff to do, but here, he just seems to be around just to comically overreact to everything. The troublesome trucks are now jokesters with no real personality. James is now reduced to a minor character for the most part, and his dialogue usually is a little more than just saying hello to whomever he passes. Diesel is now one of Thomas's friends. He still has somewhat of a mischievous side, but his personality is now essential to that of James in the original series and books. Nia is still a bland character with a very generic personality, but this reboot, unlike the original series, makes her more of a dumbass. As in Thomas Takes Off, she tries to go into a small tunnel with the shell of the rocket on a flatbed while banging the shell to the wall, which in real life is very dangerous as the shell would get dented or worse get destroyed. And Nia should have been smart enough to know that. And the child voices are annoying to listen to, especially the voices for Thomas, Percy, Diesel and Nia. Nia's voice, provided by Talia Evans in the US dub and Sod Smith in the UK dub, is also a step backwards given by the fact that the voice directors, Dee Shipley and Mary Lou Thistleton Smith, didn't bother giving Nia a Kenyan accent as she had in the original series.
Of course! The Calliope plays all the music for the carnival, so you can count on me to bring it there in one piece. Until we'll do one, ducks. I'm in a hurry.
Thomas's UK voice sounds like he's bored or doesn't want to be there.
I love the feeling of being sparkly clean after a good scrub.
Also, all the tender engines such as Gordon, James, Emily, Rebecca, who's not in the reboot, and by extension, Edward and Henry, are now kicked out of Tidmouth sheds, leaving only Thomas, Percy, Diesel, and Nia. Also, the new characters such as Connor and Sandy just appear out of nowhere, with no introductory episode whatsoever. Similar to how the new characters in Bob the Builder 2015 reboot completely appear out of nowhere with no introductory episode whatsoever, making them completely pointless characters. Connor in All Legends Go is put into the Steam team with no introductory episode whatsoever. She also is very bland with very little personality. She is also super unlikable and race for the Soda Cup. Sandy is also very bland and also pointless, as she half of the time does nothing as she feels more like filler. When she does do something, she is used as a plot device to get the plot to move. The 2 seasons were originally going to be each 52 minutes long, but they decided to split each up into 2 halves. And as the second half of the first season? How can it get worse than the first half? The first half was bad enough, but the second half is even worse than the first season, as the episodes feel exactly the same as the first half. More formulaic plots, more focus on Thomas, and terribly executed morals that are constantly shoved down the kid's throat. I cannot remember any of the episodes from the reboot. I literally couldn't finish the reboot when I got to the super long shortcut, not even halfway through this first season or even the reboot in general. Also, the realism has now been taken away cause of how much Mattel doesn't care about the realism or fans, and the characters look really ugly to me, with changes like removing side rods, lamp irons, driver doors, cause they don't need drivers anymore to drive the engines, etc. Carly for some reason, is now some random crane engine that moves on the same rails as all engines, and not a stationary gantry crane like she was in seasons 21 through 24, and isn't like a moving crane engine like Harvey. However, her crane arm moves in the Trackmaster Push-Along and Trackmaster toys. Why not do it in All Legends Go? Harold looks terrible, ugly and off-putting, as he has a gray face instead of his face being meshed into his bodywork. He's also now a greenish color instead of white. Gordon doesn't look bad at all either, but his configuration is changed from a 462 locomotive into a 262 for some reason. Nia no longer has her trailing wheels that were underneath her cab, thus making her a 260 locomotive instead of a 262 locomotive, and 100%. Henry and Edward. Good God, what the fuck did they do to Edward and Henry? These two were my favorite characters alongside Toby and Percy, but now they're ruined, because of Mattel's laziness. What do I mean by that? Well, they're just lazy minor retools of Gordon and James, but with different colors, and slight additions and alterations. Worse, Edward is now a motherfucking 660 locomotive instead of a damn 440, and not to mention, look at his face. Why does his face make him look like a grandpa? He looks like he's 90 or something. Henry's design, however, seems to be fixing itself and a bit more accurate every time he appears, and Thomas, Percy, Nia and Diesel are now scaled down to half the height of Gordon. and several episodes rehash episodes from the original series. And the songs that sometimes come up, like I'm Gonna Chug from A Thomas Promise, are extremely cheesy, annoying, forgettable, generic, bland, and ear-piercing, and sometimes show up out of completely nowhere. To make matters worse, some of the songs are just terribly butchered versions of pre-existing children's songs. And another thing I have to complain about is Gordon. Gordon, the no longer express engine but a fucking fatherly engine. In the original series, he was a fucking proud and pompous engine who doesn't give a shit about the engines, or even anything, but he was also the most important engine. But in the reboot, he acts more like Edward, as he's now a kind and wise father figure to Thomas, which makes no sense logic-wise, since he was built in 1920 to 1921, and Thomas was built in 1913 to 1916, meaning Thomas is older than Gordon. So why have Gordon be the fucking father of Thomas when he was built in 1920 to 1921? Hell, maybe they could have chosen Edward since he was built in 1896. He's older than Gordon, and more of a better father figure to the other engines, but no, they had to choose Gordon as a father figure to Thomas for no reason. He has somewhat of a decent voice, and by the way, did I mention him? James and Emily are now pushed to the side as supporting characters. Emily, however, doesn't speak. I don't know. Maybe she does. I don't know. I didn't watch the later episodes, as I've been saying over 10 times already, and Edward and Henry are now background characters with no speaking roles, and even the humans are now demoted to background characters too. Honestly, if I worked with Mattel, I'd fire whoever came up with the reboot, and bring back joy, peace, and charm / make more seasons of the Brenner era. Hell, there's even fan-made content that I've watched more than the original show. Hell, many fans have even stopped watching Thomas after the reboot and now only watch fan-made content on YouTube. In fact, James Williams made a really good point about the show is,
when the official company that owns the show doesn't care about keeping this franchise alive, then we will. In our own way, us fans will continue to keep the legacy of the Island of Sodor and the Thomas franchise alive for many years to come, because we genuinely care. And to the fans out there who care,
us fans will always keep Thomas alive for many years to come. So yeah. All engines go absolutely suck super ultra mega fucking goddamn huge time. It should have gotten cancelled after season 24. It should have never have happened. Mattel shouldn't have brainwashed some people to like the reboot, which is not the best idea to defend it or salute on it, and it should be cancelled and replaced with some new show, right now. Also, what idiot liar decided to put based on the Railway series, created by Britt Allcroft? All Engines Go is not based on the Railway series or created by Britt Allcroft. That is the most insulting thing to put in on a new show.